Hello everybody, my name is Troublemaker, and this is Wargame AirLand Battle Clash of the Clans 2, looking at the first major tournament of Wargame AirLand Battle. Of course, the next big one will be coming up at the end of the month. Pretty excited for that. Going to be doing two tournaments simultaneously on this channel, and this one is a pretty big match. We're looking at a match between the Steel Balalaikas and the East-West German gamers, and this one will actually be for keeps. The one who loses this is forever banished to the edge and end of the tournament. In fact, this is the losers bracket that we're looking at here, and we have our NATO players will be, of course, Steel Balalaikas. They are Shade, Knis Kanasi, Evil Frog, and Valentine. And their opponents, of course, East-West German gamers playing also as NATO. We have One Eye Shot, Dar Jirling, Gary Diesel, and Sorcha Boy. God, those names are complicated. And, of course, a lot of different players. A lot of these teams are anywhere between 4 and 10. So we're not going to see a lot of consistency there. And already both teams throwing up some flags here. Sorcha Boy says, I has base. I has base. One person deciding to leave an FOB here. No doubt will get looted by teammates. No FOBs left here. And so to start this match, we'll look at just a quick look who has the command advantage right after that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 commands here for our Steel Balalaikas. And EWGG has 1, 2, 3, only 4, so not so many. Keep in mind though, the number of bases on this map is pretty tiny. 4 could just as easily be Delta, Golf, Charlie. And then they can grab this Alpha base pretty quickly afterwards. One of the awkward things here, of course, is that there is a reinforcement tunnel here. So it kind of changes how you play. Oh, you can go inside the tunnel. Ah! Okay, so that's too far. Because you have to grab this wooded location here. If you can't grab this wooded location here, then you're in some serious trouble. And in fact, the Steel Balalaikas right off the bat are saying, let's attack this location. Let's go and grab this tunnel. Because this is a pretty good place to grab. And it's all, of course, going to be, you know, same stuff. So we got some double phantoms showing up right off the back. And do a little bit of napalm on the main road. Wanting to block access to this Foxtrot location, which, of course, it seems like we have a push from both sides to try and grab this location. Napalm will have a pretty sinister effect because it means that the command armor will not be able to hit. And ooh, deploying these air vehicles against the helicopters, I'm not sure that's a good idea because oh my god, AA everywhere, firing on the Drakons. Both Drakons will in fact go down. Yes, they do. They were able to get all those helicopters out though, which was good. And now they just have the remainder of their ridiculous Air Force coming in, just trying to pick off anything they can that's out in the open that's available to hit. Not a ton of AA being deployed here. And finally, we see some air-to-air weaponry going to be deployed here. Using these F-14 Tomcats, I'm pretty sure recognizably the best air superiority type fighter in the game. And yeah, I mean, there was a small point where we had enough for a 9-point lead from the EWGG, but it looks like things are changing pretty quickly. Another command will in fact get placed at this Charlie base, and once again, note this is a very scary location. Very scary. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, there's a 5th one here, so they should have about even number of commands actually. So very, very early advantage will go to EWGG. We're gonna get, I think, overall more points, but oh, hello, extra point here. How are you? And of course, a little bit of greed on the part of Steel Balalaikas. They have nothing here in this particular forest here. And yeah, I know it's because they have stuff here and they have spotters and stuff like that, but they can't play too greedy, too long. And it looks like they're going to get some infantry moving forward, try and grab this forest location here. So that would solve that. And as you can see, actually the fire seems to have dissipated just in time. That's good on them. And attack from Shade, from the Steel Balalaikas, who I'm assuming is their leader because he seems to be in all their games. And there's actually a little bit of AA here. Dornier 205 is going to try and sneak in here, grab this command, but ooh, not so good. If they can throw a few bombers at this, however, they could be in a good position. And it looks like a Raven's going to go ahead and drop another one of these rockets, and looks like it was pretty unsuccessful too. Didn't seem to destroy anything. So we're looking at a little bit of a stalemate here. It does look like position overall will go to Steel Balalei as they've grabbed this Echo base. And ooh, look at these anti-tank gun Milans. Just going to devastate all these forces. Now you're going to pull those infantry, the main infantry ball forward to try and deal with these. Heyer, Heijer, Veymet. That's how I assume people are pronouncing it. And this command is just very vulnerable right now. The Steel Balalei is absolutely nowhere it is. And that could breed some problems, as we're seeing some pretty awesome long-range action here with infantry. Vehicles, anti-infantry vehicles. Going to pick off some infantry for freezies, and all the while, like, this is getting pretty brutal to watch here. This command vehicle will possibly go down. There's a Leopard 2A4 here by itself. 3 Chieftain Mark 5s going to try and sucker punch it. Actually, 2 Leopards. Now look at that, and actually might be able to kill both Chieftains here. He's just trying to micro. This is he's hitting the reverse command in case you're unaware, and he's trying to get the distance advantage so he can pick them off. And actually, with some pretty stellar micro here, Valentine is actually able to pick off 3 of those Chieftains. And here comes some Leopard 2s, 4 Leopard 2s. This should be enough to repel this attack. Another command vehicle is on the map here for Steel Balalei, who currently have a +2 and are overall dominating in almost every perceivable way. In fact, deploying some of these assault engineers to give a little bit of napalm on these attacks. Anti-tank gun Milans, all out of ammunition right now, so this little push here could actually do quite a bit if they don't get some more reinforcements here. There is a Challenger 1 coming across the map, but there are some Leopard 2A4s actually able to hit it, and both these Challenger 2s could potentially get killed here if they don't get moved appropriately. We're seeing artillery fire hitting this location, and whoa, on this other flank we're seeing Jaegers in the woods. Lots of vehicles coming in, lots of infantry coming in specifically, and maybe some tank support. There's a Bradley IFV coming in from the southern flank with a Lod Stinger covering it from air support, and a Puma 330 getting completely picked off by the Pivatos. But there's nothing here to deal with this infantry. Absolutely nothing here. The IHawk is completely out of ammunition. Actually, the IHawk could potentially die right here. There's a Tomcat in the air, but there's Martyr Roland 2s picking it off, hitting it. It's not retreating. And oh god, could the infantry drop on top of a command? As if this was Wargame European escalation, people. We're seeing some old school tactics being used here. In a situation where there's absolutely nothing at all to deal with this infantry. And actually able to get that command, and it's a pretty devastating defeat here, as they will now be able to move into this location, bring their command in, and make this +4. Absolutely brutal. This location here, however, is not looking so hot for our blue, I always say NATO when I think blue players, who aren't pulling back their command. They have multiple tanks. This is 3, 4, 6 tanks here. There are some helicopters coming to support. There is a stun, and the Challenger 1, the solo Challenger 1 with only 3 or 4 hit points, is moving up to try and cause a decoy. Tornado coming in. Ooh, hits the target. The command might just be able to get away, move to a more secure location as helicopters are coming in, and that's a lot of helicopters. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 helicopters doing the damage on the tanks, as the tanks may just be forced to retreat. They could lose this entirely to attrition. There is a side flank of infantry coming in. There are some Jaegers here to support further. There's F-15 Eagles in the air swarming around trying to pick off some anti-air targets, and the Jaeger is actually going to be able to get some pretty good damage here as Heischmidt dropped on top of them just in time, and actually going to get wiped out, and could lose this potential flank off to Julia. Of course, this is kind of what you have to do if you're EWGG right now. Be super aggressive. Try and play the ground. Lots of battle going on for this forest area here. Fusiliers deployed en masse. That's 60 infantry being deployed. Sorry, 70 all at once. Is there another one in here? Are you kidding me? Is that a... No, there's not. Okay. That's this assault engineer being tucked under the way. There's so few of them. And actually, slowly EWGG is gaining some ground, but it's a matter of timing right now. This is a bad situation for anyone who's not in red. And actually, being the balls or Valentine is, he's going to continue pushing forward. He's going to go with his old school European escalation tactics. Just going to push up with his infantry, fork them into this little town here, and actually secure this whole area against tank attacks. Looks like mostly the battles for the woods are over. But as I say that, more Dorniers are getting moved in to try and bring a little bit of support. Very interesting, different way of using units here from Knisnasi. He's actually got, I don't know if it's an air deck, but he's definitely using a lot of helicopters to supply extra air value to their infantry. And Yui actually coming and getting wiped out by Fusiliers. And it might actually hurt him quite a bit, these helicopters, because they're quite expensive, and you just don't get as many infantry as you think you ought to. They were very instrumental in the defense of this northern-ish type flank. There's no actual compass on this map. And Milan's, finally going to get killed. Used all their payload. Command vehicle might just die right here. It's actually getting fired on by a Pavados. And stunned and down. So we're looking at a +3 now from Steel Balalei. Still massively ahead. They only need about 400 more points to win this. And keep in mind, they do have this one ridiculous flank here, which means they will have to divert resources to defend this juncture here. So that's kind of scary. And we have some mortars actually being used. This is rather unusual for a 44. But here we are mortaring this town here to try and soften up these infantry. And just trying to get away with whatever you can. Lots of mortar rolling twos, unfortunately getting rallied in here. And I don't know why. It doesn't seem purposeful. But speaking of which, it looks like this flank was discovered just in time. We have some tanks being rallied out here by Valentine and Evil Frog. And there we go. Oh my god. Sorcha Boy actually going to surrender. Massively behind. And I didn't know his name was copyrighted. That's different. Yeah, so we see lots of vehicles going to have to run away. There's only one tank left here, and there's just too many tanks here. Oh my god, Falcon attack. Ah! Too much AA in the air. He is able to get his payload off, and it does most of the damage you need to do. Got rid of some AA, got rid of most of the infantry. But there's just so much freaking AA in the air right now. Lots of Pavados everywhere. These airstrikes will become less and less cost effective over time. And Leopards will continue pushing up. Is there any AA on the bottom flank? We have none. None at all, actually. As more and more infantry are trying to get jumped in here. Trying to throw his vehicles forward, which isn't bad. Throwing your vehicles forward, of course, does waste ammunition. And it doesn't cost you anything. Because they're not actually units. They just cost you carriers of units. But we're still massively ahead for Steel Balalei. Doing very well gaining ground here with EWGG. But they still have lots more ground to gain. And in fact, 3 Leopard 2A4s coming up with air support galore as the bombs will go off, crashing into the Roland, just destroying all the anti-air vehicles. There's actually too many Leopards here. And when you look at the bulk of it, there's only actually 2 Chieftains here and a single Lynx Toe. That's not going to be good. Most of the A should just magically vanish from this location. Speaking of which, there's also this other flank here, which is still pushing. And looks like he could get this Chieftain Mark 10 as well. These 2 of them, actually. But no, going to pull back, try and resupply. Doesn't want to lose those vehicles. And this is kind of situation he does want to be in. There is a Lynx Toe with absolutely no air support here. And, crushing hit. But, whoa, Wild Weasel will come in. You're going to deploy a little bit of the action here. And, yes, will, in fact, get rid of 1 Lynx. And will try and retreat. But, no, it's dead. Kind of worthwhile trade-off. He could have lost his tanks for that. But he decided to throw an airplane instead. We're still seeing +3 from Steel Balalei. And it's kind of hard. When you look at this map here, what 3 bases can... Actually, it'd be 2 bases. What 2 bases can the Steel Balalei take out? They obviously can't take out the southern region because that's just locked down. Very good push here by Valentine. They could, if they could break this middle somehow, they could potentially hit India, and that'd be the 2 bases they need. Because then they destroy 2 bases and capture 1 or 2, hypothetically. But it's kind of getting problematic right now. They need to do something fast. Leopard 2A4 is actually getting resupplied as they're taking damage. Ooh, and actually the Chieftain hitting this group of Yagras here. The Leopard will fire back, instantly kills, of course, because they are quite good. And actually the battle for the middle here is, unfortunately for the EWGG, it's going to the Steel Balalei as they have just so many freaking infantry in here just pushing this back. And right now, the key strategy for the Steel Balalei isn't even gaining ground like they have been this entire game. It's all about maintaining this middle location. Can they deploy enough infantry to this location? Can they maintain this one flank here? Can they stop any kind of attacks against the bridge? The answer, of course, is yes. This is a dangerous bottleneck. Look at this bridge. It only fits one tank. So now the 70% point. This will in fact be one of these very fast conquest games that we don't get to see too often, and complete and utter domination here by the Steel Balalei. And they're actually rallying out lots of mortars right now, just firing away, trading resources for kills. And now up to +5. Looks like they got a lucky command hit. And by lucky, I mean they actually scouted this and they bombed it specifically. And nothing is sitting well at all. Yeah, congratulations, Steel Balalei. I guess you have won this. Sorch Boy, of course, did escape the game quite early, unfortunately. And I don't know if he knew this was coming, or his teammates didn't agree with him, or he was angry. Maybe he had a bad connection. Cause I know that a lot of people as of late have been having pretty bad connections. It's a big thing. Look at all these last minute vehicles popping out, and this is kind of how the last few minutes of these games go. It's like I will throw away all of my helicopters or not helicopters, aircraft, to try and slow down as much your attacks as possible. And because of the vision being given here by the aircraft, the fixed wing aircrafts. Actually, look at the Seahawks in vision here. And oh my god, this Hornet doing so well, but got greedy. Going to crash and burn. And yeah, that was that one. Pretty unexciting. It's great to be back, guys. It's weird not having Wargame for the weekend. It's weird doing Wargame only on the weekdays. Of course, this is a match from the losers bracket. So Steel Balalei will continue on in the losers bracket, and unfortunately EWGG is out of the tournament. My name is Troublemaker. If you want to see more from the Clash of the Clans 2 tournament, definitely subscribe to the channel. And also, I will be covering the big Blizzard Go for Wargame Cup every week that they have it. I'll be doing like the semifinals and the finals every time it becomes available. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next week, or when this match ends. Any second now. This is awkward. Ooh, I'm pretty sure they're gonna win though. Yeah, they won. Good game.